I'm much louder than you.
Hang on. How's that?
It's a little better, yeah.
Yeah, I just had to get a little closer.
Let me try this again then.
Hmm.
So you got any construction heading on?
No. It's everything's quiet today. What is happening?
Sweet. Sounds much better. Okay. Recording is on. I'm literally just following mostly the template from the ARC show. I mean, really, it's almost
Okay.
the same exact format.
Well, I think you'll be leading most of it, because...
That's fine. Let me pull up Mixler. So this is episode 13. Is that correct? I guess.
No idea.
I'm thinking. If I finish freaking editing them. I'm a little behind. Yes, 13.
Well, there you go. Actually, mind if I just run and grab a bottle of water?
Go for it, man. So we are live.
All right.
So we are live.
Oh.
All right. You hear yourself.
Oh. Yeah, a very brief delay. Yeah, a very brief delay. All right, I'm good.
Okie dokie. Let's try not to screw this up. Get it? Never mind. It's XPQuest. We really can't screw this up. I mean, we could really screw it up, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
It's the most casual of casual shows you could possibly ever be on. Get well, kids, drop your controllers and grab your voxelated swords. It's time for XPQuest. This is XPQuest episode 13, and I am joined, of course, by my co-host, Raetac.
Greetings, I'm here again, as always.
Woohoo! And hey, since you're the only one on, there's much less chance of me forgetting you.
Well, we can only hope.
I do have to apologize. We've had so many guests on, and it's just like I'm juggling feeds and lines and mixers, and oh my god, and I just completely glazed over you the past 2 episodes.
Hey, that's quite alright. I'm quite happy to just give you a good swift stab in the ribs and say, hey, I'm here.
You're definitely here. So
I would not go meekly into the night.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight's episode, we picked this out. We we chose Trove, the MMO, and man, I got ups and downs on this. So let's just quickly review what Trove is. Okay. According to Wikipedia, Trove is an Australian online library database aggregator. Wait,
No
no.
way.
Wrong article. Sorry. Trove the video game. Okay. Trove the video game is a sandbox, massive multiplayer online role-playing game developed by Tryon Worlds.
Who are
God.
so great with their authentication notification.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Trove clearly is one of those MMOs where you download it from Steam and you're like, oh, that wasn't a big download. And then you go to log in and it makes you authenticate against their servers. And then you have to download another game and then you have to patch that game. Now you got stuck on the actual getting the account set up or whatever.
Yes, it wasn't even just having the game downloaded. Then you had to go through their launcher as well, and getting that to authenticate. I had an account with Tryon previously for some game or another, and even this launcher itself was asking for like authentication, which they were supposedly sending me authenticating emails to my address. Usually these things take seconds, not 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's well, it had to travel completely around the world and convert from some standard to metric and back.
I would have had to do it done several times over because I've had much faster authentications than that.
Well, I mean, I just looked up Tryon because I was like, okay, let's learn a little bit about Tryon since we're doing a show about them. They are an American video game publisher that focuses on MMOs, and it's the guys who used to work there or who own it used to work for NCSoft and Electronic Arts. So yeah,
well, explains everything.
their games that they're famous for, you can actually see from their launcher, is Rift, Defiance, End of Nations, Arcade, Trove, and Devilion. And I believe they got another one coming later called Atlas Reactor, whatever the hell that is. So yeah, I remember downloading Rift, but we never actually played it. That's sad. Okay.
Rift
on to Trove.
Drift would have been something interesting. I would have been kind of interested in. I actually did get invited to the beta of Arcade at one stage, and I found that was just another MMO, really.
Nothing special.
No.
Yeah. So, Trove was released on November 2013. And then launch issues. I love this chapter right here. On launch day, the game experienced issues with queue times and wait times. In response, the ad bans had to restart the servers 3 times. That's always good when on launch day. They got to restart the servers.
Well, okay, I think it really goes to show the popularity of the game itself. I mean, if you've been like launch day on anything, say from Blizzard, namely WoW, Diablo, you're kind of like conditioned to this sort of
soul crushing waits.
Just having this like error, I think it was the error 403, 404, I can't remember. There was a famous Diablo one, and I got stuck on that. I was like, because I thought I was all excited to like Diablo 3, and okay, that's another show altogether, actually. But maybe we could do that at some stage. But yeah.
So as far as the gameplay, it says the game players assume the role of one of multiple classes, each with different play styles and abilities. And then after a brief tutorial, you get dumped into a hub. And then from there, you access portals, which send you to different levels or different worlds, each one having something to do with like a stage of your progression overall. And each world gets progressively harder, but the rewards get better. and let's see here. Yeah, here's the thing. There's only 3 equipable slots in your entire inventory, and then of course you can make all of your equipable items from crafting or getting from boss fights.
Well, actually, most of
And
my equipables I've actually seen are just basically loot drops.
exactly. So yeah, that's the thing. This entire game is just one gigantic loot fest. Oh my god, you get so much loot. It's
Mhm.
just like if you go out on a typical dungeon run from your house, nothing in your inventory, and you hit like 4 dungeons, your thing is full. Like you can't pick anything else up.
I haven't found it
So
to be that bad. I
it's
mean,
gotten to that. I'm at like level 14, I think, and it's that bad for me at least.
well, I'm starting to catch her. I've managed to grind my way to level 10, so
Nice. So the one of the game's features is a collection, and it's basically all of the loot items. You can collect them, and basically once you have them once, you can infinitely paint your character as a skin. You could reskin anything as anything that you've already collected and sort of destroyed. And God, there is so much variety. It's just, and I was noticing, and I remember we discussed this one night while we were playing, that most of the items seem to be created by players or something, because everything that has a loot says it's made by this person. So I'm just like, well, that's cool. So obviously there's some sort of a hidden mini game that I guess at some point I don't know how you get into that level of sort of designing stuff for the game, but obviously
no
it's
doubt that would be somewhere a lot higher. Well,
yeah.
like, yes, you've ground your way through X amount of levels. You now have earned the right to create some of these items that lower players can get.
hmm Such a I'm see, here's the thing. I'm horrible at like pixel art and much less voxel stuff. So it would just be like a stick, like a stick designed by DJPimpDaddy. They'd have a -1, attack.
I don't know if you could go so far as actually designate what the items stats would be.
Yeah, yeah. There has to be some sort of an in-game like assignment system. I'm guessing just so to keep all the levels sort of standard, so you're not
More or
dropping like
less, yeah.
epic loot in the first zone. So so another fun feature of this game is the cornerstones. So this is where the game starts branching out in its obscurity. So throughout every single zone there are spots where there's a sign. It's a cornerstone, and when you click on it, your player's home just magically appears there, and then it will stay there until you pull it somewhere else or you leave the world, right? And other players can just come and go into your house, but they can't modify it anyway. But you have the ability to collect cubes, very Minecraft-esque. You can use a laser to sort of cut cubes out of the world and then put them in your own house. So the first thing I did, of course, was build a Dark Lord's tower. Did you end up modifying your house yet? Because I know you've been playing a lot more.
The furthest I've got is actually just making a 3-block high wall around the cornerstone, so I can be undisturbed doing
Yeah,
what I
because
need to do.
the cornerstones can be right in the middle of a battle. It's kind of ridiculous where they put some of them. So you could also, inside your own little house, that's where you start putting all of your various crafting stations, etc. And it has advanced stuff all the way up to where you're farming inside your little house. And oh, it's crazy. There's so many little crafting stations and little modification things. And then of course there's like paint blocks. And I think the first time where I actually felt like I had to start putting money into the game is when I finally filled up my chest in my house. And I can't remember for whatever reason, I don't know why I was hoarding all this stuff, but that's the first time where I actually had any bit of an urge to actually sink money into this game, was to expand the chest. Have you hit that point yet?
No, I haven't, because I've been using the loot collector, which basically grinds down the items. I have been, because the flow of items have been so I wouldn't say titled, but just fast. The items that are coming in, I've found a few item statistics that I've been happy with to basically keep a hold of, and everything that I collect just keeps going through the loot collector. I haven't really been on the lookout for crafting items, or actually, to be honest, I don't know what items around the world are actual crafting items. So I could be just wandering off and not collecting them. It would be kind of nice to highlight these sort of things, but I suppose at the lower levels, I mean, admittedly, I've played on and off for maybe about 5-10 hours, and maybe it's, I don't know, maybe the tutorial could have been a little bit clearer, but it's been kind of interesting just like figuring this stuff out. But to be honest, in my stage right now, there isn't a heck of a lot of like there's no story to keep me engaged with the game. It's just log on, loot a whole, go and basically do a few dungeons and then log off again. There's nothing really that engaging with it.
Yeah, I will totally agree, because I think the only other thing I really wanted to talk about was the club worlds, but beyond the club worlds itself, the gameplay itself, that you're right, it totally gets like redundant, ridiculously redundant. There's only like 2 or 3 different types of dungeons. There's like a regular dungeon, a recipe dungeon, and then there's like a massive boss dungeon. And the massive boss dungeon literally has all of the same elements as a regular dungeon, just it has like 4 or 5 of them and like one big boss in it somewhere. But even at level, the level that I'm supposed to be, you can still take down the massive boss dungeons solo with, proper planning and tactics, right?
Or good gear.
Yeah, or good gear. So it's so yeah, you're right. There's no overarching story that's sort of driving you forward in the, other than loot collection, collecting, more hats, or glory of, your level. I mean, that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we've got to come from the background of playing other MMOs, as even the World of Warcrafts, the Lotros, they have basically story to keep you entertained, and you want to find the next piece of the story. You want to basically progress your character to a point where you can find out the next stage of the story.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
honestly think that this game is a fine example about what if Minecraft really was a persistent MMO. Does that make sense?
I
Like,
wouldn't
it
even
really,
I wouldn't even go so far as to say Minecraft, actually.
it's close.
This is almost what you could say a cube world that has actually got off the ground.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And not run away with money.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did notice that um, when we would play multiplayer, it was kind of fun to run around and just steamroll through things, but I felt like we were definitely steamrolling through the content. And I noticed this playing multiplayer with another player, Leonor. We played for a while. This was months and months and months ago. And one of the things that I typically hate about playing multiplayer MMOs like Lord of the Rings or something else is that you can't stop and smell the roses. You can't enjoy the quest text because everyone's just like click, click, click through it. Let's go, let's get into the fight. And then so you just blow through content. You just don't read anything. You're just literally aiming for objectives only, right? In this game, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing saying that there's a quest. You literally come across a dungeon and it just says kill the boss. That's all it says.
And it's even got the other trappings of MMOs. It's got the dailies, which I managed.
Yeah.
I completed one just before the podcast itself, and like, yep, that was done. Right? Okay.
Yep. Now what?
Is this maybe something symptomatic of some genres of games nowadays where they just give you like an open sandbox and with no background and anything else like that? I mean, the classic example of No Man's Sky, that big catastrophe. And I suppose even some of the survival games that are coming out nowadays, yes, they have their depth, but in the end, it's just what you make of it.
Yeah. I think I definitely see Trove as perfect for certain genres of people who don't read quest. They're just in it for the collecting. They're in it for the glory.
Or maybe it's the age bracket.
That is true. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. I can't find anything about reception of the game and like where it breaks down across the world. Like I don't know if this is like popular in South Korea, but it obviously, like when we log in, we're only seeing, we're sort of zoned into wherever the server is, but you can join anybody in your friends list and you sort of zoom over to their server, so you could switch between servers easily enough. When you're in the hub, it's just crazy. It's like you're in Bree and Lord of the Rings. It's just people dancing around and singing and whatever. But then, of course, when you zoom out into the world,
but in saying that, Bree's got character.
Yeah, that is very true. So, when you zoom out into the world, you still come across people frequently, but it's like maybe one or two here and there. You never see like a gigantic raiding party, running around. And sort of speaking of that, there really isn't any way to sort of you can join someone like your friend, but you don't really group with them. Does that make sense?
Not in the traditional sense.
Yeah, the game is designed to where you don't share stuff between people by default, and everyone gets a fair share of loot drop. So if somebody picks something up, somebody else gets something different, apparently.
Really? Oh, I thought I thought it seemed as though the loot was instanced.
Was it? Yeah. Like your loot is your loot, and it's not like somebody could come along and steal it. Yeah. So, so I don't even know if like we're getting the same exact items and stuff, but
probably not. We
Yeah.
have to do further testing on that.
So, I think the only thing we had was the club worlds, which is basically your guild or your kinship or whatever. Once you sort of form a club, a guild, you get your own private little zone, and it's literally just a free for all building zone. And I visited like 6 or 7 of them, and you could clearly tell that these people have like way too much time on their hands. Like beyond an unhealthy obsession with like Minecraft kind of, level, like where these people just build these monolithic cathedrals and castles.
I mean, well, in a lot of the sandbox games that we're generally accustomed to, so say with the Arks, the Minecrafts, even Trove to a certain extent, the act of creating a habitat of any description is really engaging to people.
Mhm. And honestly, I think that's one of the things where I see a long-term relationship with the game could go.
Mm,
Like, once you get to the point where you're sort of grinding, you've outground the quest lines or stuff, you know? Um, I could see somebody putting in the hours and falling in love with, the club world design, because it really is just a blank canvas that you could just go crazy on.
yeah.
And, yeah. And then, of course, you have the ability to show off your world, so to speak. And of course, it's just like anything else. It's protected against grieving. So that is one thing I do actually appreciate about this game is, even though you really can't lock your stuff, your houses and your club worlds, it is definitely protected against griefing. So there's not even a thought of that.
Mm.
The most that people can grief is just run around and stand in your way, but there's no collision between characters, so it's not a big deal. So I think that if there was any way to sort of grief, I think that would make this game completely different. Because
I think that
I didn't see a PvP.
there were PvP arenas that I did see. There was a 5v5 capture the flag type portal
Okay.
you could try and experience. Of course, PvP is not really my thing. More often than not, my ping is my worst enemy. Not the person across the battlefield. It's trying to coordinate attacks and reactions, that sort of thing.
Nice. So I just looked, and there are 3 professions that people can work on. It's gardening, ringcraft, and rune crafting. And then, of course, like any good MMO, there's fishing mechanics.
I had a look at the fishing. I actually managed. I bought a fishing pole. I have no idea how to use it. So.
It's the F button, I think.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I was actually mainly using a controller because it was actually just easier to use, honestly.
Gotcha. See, I should probably plug in a controller and try that. So, yep. I mean, other than that, it's just a loot grind. It's incredible. But I mean, it's when I sort of pitched we should play this. I wasn't kidding when I said it's great in short amounts, right? I could see me
Very
needing
true.
this. It's not a huge install, so it's not really taking up too much space on my hard drive. And then if you wait months between playing it, the patching process is only, at most, I mean, in my speeds, maybe
Mm.
like, 15 minutes. I can see it would be inconvenient for you, you know, if your
It's
download
not
speeds are bad.
it's not the Arc level of patching.
Yeah. Yeah. Ark's definitely got some that wins on the patch level. Oh man. So is there anything that you think if they did it differently, it would make the game more fun, like adding actual quest text or something?
um, I'm not entirely sure whether like a quest line or even some sort of valid story would actually make Trove any more engaging, appealing, or engaging to myself. Graphically, honestly, the voxels is to myself a little bit of a turn off.
Mm.
Um, sure, you kind of get used to it, but it's not something I would really want to actually just like see. I mean, of course, I've played Minecraft. Minecraft is, I suppose, a different kettle of fish. Whereas, I suppose the smaller voxels that they're using for Trove, it's almost like mini blocks.
Mhm.
And also the cell shading as well. It's I'm not really too.
It gives the whole
Yeah.
game like a candy like feeling.
Yeah, if they had some sort of like different shaders or something, if you could get rid of the black outline on everything, maybe it might stand a chance.
Hmm. And see, that's where I think like if somebody could mod it to where you could just change the, like you
Mm.
said, if you could reskin things, could you imagine that? You could basically make the entire feel of the game completely different.
If they could actually add some, like, say, decent shadows, or yeah, even just like rounding the edges and like, yeah, the black outlines is not. Yeah, it works for some things, some art styles, like say for example Borderlands, works really well.
Hmm.
Yes, yeah, not quite so much in my
Okay,
eyes.
so I had to look this up because I remember I remember getting this game on PS3. It's called, here, I'll put it in chat here for you. It's 3D Dot Game Heroes. It's another it's another 3D voxel based role game, but instead of having a camera that swung around, it was just a static overhead view, almost like you're
Mm-hmm.
playing Zelda. But the skin of this entire game is it's still voxel, it's still pixelated, but it's definitely it definitely has like an art style that it follows to where it's more Zelda esque.
It's very much like
And
Stonehearth, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it's the same thing. But see, in this game, they actually do have quest text and, et
Mm.
cetera, et cetera. I don't know. It seems to me like just with the way that Trove is programmed, it just seems like it's chaotic, but it embraces its chaos, Like you go from hell worlds and hell biomes to like a candy cane biome where there's just like candy canes trying to attack you, and then next thing you know you're in an old west town and there's like a cowboy made out of a cactus just chasing you.
And
It's
actually,
like
just recently they've released a dinosaur type biome, prehistoric biome.
great, more dinosaurs. uh that's just what we need, dinosaurs. Why did they have to add dinosaurs?
Now,
uh
at what stage did you get the secondary class to unlock? 'Cause I
I
haven't
want
actually.
to I'm trying to think. It was somewhere like 12 or 13.
I see.
And I swear I think it was like some drop I got where it was just like when I opened it, it was some random loot drop, and then
Huh.
it gave me the option. I don't know if I got it from a level up or if I got a drop. I thought it was something that dropped that when I opened it, it said pick a class, and I just said, "Oh,
Okay.
sweet!" I could. It just it was like a loot drop that gave me a random class. So I don't. I haven't looked at the the money exchange to figure out how much the currency is to sort of purchase,
Yeah.
another class. I imagine
Honestly,
it would.
yeah.
I'd be
Uh,
surprised if it's more than like $5.
Probably. I couldn't see myself spending any money on this, to be honest. I've got way too many other games on my library that I have yet to complete, or be yet to play. Period. That I've
Mhm.
purchased over the years that I really should look back at.
That is true. But on the flip side of that, I'll still hold my commitment of I don't think I'll ever uninstall this just because it's one of those, hey, let's throw down some Trove, you
Mm,
know?
yeah,
Um,
it definitely is a good, quick game. As like, I suppose as a stark comparison to something like, okay, your other traditional MMOs with raiding and stuff, where you're going to be locked down to a dungeon for hours on end in high pressure environments. This is actually kind of really just arcadey. You go in, you kill stuff, and you come out again. I mean,
exactly. I'm trying to find there was another free game on Steam It's very voxel based. Realm of the Mad God.
Mm.
Realm of the Mad God is definitely more shooter-esque, like bullet hell shooter.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of the similar characteristics of Trove that I noticed. Not only just the art style on that, but just the minimalist, quest lines. Go kill
Yeah.
this, go
Yeah.
kill this, go kill this. But it is definitely bullet hell, and of course the characters are a lot tinier, but they cram more people onto the screen, so it makes sense when you do that.
Yeah, the over-the-shoulder 3D combat of Trove is actually, to be quite honest, is definitely a lot easier
Mm-hmm.
than like a lot of even like the bullet hells, that sort of thing. So
Yeah. I can't remember. Can you zoom into first person in this game?
I don't think so.
I think you could get really close, but you can't actually click
Mm.
over into first person. I know it gives you the option to zoom in and out, but I can't remember actually. So there's only a couple points where I actually felt like we actually almost got stuck. But for the most part, jumping around and even flying and floating places
Oh, speaking of
seemed pretty
jumping,
easy.
have you managed to find items with extra double jumps?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So some of the stats it gives you like speed or jump abilities. It improves your jumping.
Well, I've actually stacked that, and I've got to the point where I can pretty much double jump to within anywhere, whether like high, low, or what have you. I've virtually got ultimate freedom to an
Nice.
extent.
I remember playing and being in some of the bigger dungeons, and like some dude came along and just jumped across the entire like cause it's like a jumping puzzle to begin with, and then this dude just like ninjas his way up the side of something, and
Mm,
I'm just standing there like by the time I got up there, he had already beat the boss, but because I was still in the zone, I got counted for that kill.
nice.
So yeah, if you're inside it, if you step foot in a dungeon, even if right as you step into the dungeon, somebody does like the fatal killing blow on an enemy, you get counted for that, which is it's nice. So
Yeah,
people can't really steal your kills,
that's
but you could just follow somebody around and just take all their stuff, take all their glory. So that is possible.
there isn't much point to it though.
No, I mean at that point, like why even like you're not even playing the game,
Yeah,
you know. And with the ability of like the fast travel and zooming to other players and stuff, if God forbid somebody was sort of trolling you, you could lose them pretty easily. So trying to think. I haven't done any of the festive stuff, but I know they have like seasonal things like you log in and it's like a big summer festival or something.
mm,
But it's typical stuff since it's Trove. It's they give away specific decorations for your house or your club world, things like that.
yeah.
And
Probably the usual trapping of get a few interesting bits, and for a few dollars or the currency of the game, you can buy some of the really nice looking stuff.
exactly. Yep. But that would require money, which we're not giving them.
I certainly won't.
uh, so I don't know what else we could say about Trove other than it's fun in short doses.
Agreed. If you're looking for
Concur.
something that just to while away maybe 10, 20 minutes and have no real investment in playing for great lengths of time, yeah, definitely check it out.
And I do have to admit, like, even the times where I played it for like an hour or two one night and I stayed up a little later than I probably would have, unlike some other games, I actually don't feel like I regret that time. Does that make sense? Like, I don't regret having played this game. It's still fun and it's interesting, but
Yeah, it's
I just
fun.
don't see myself investing a lot of time in it.
There's nothing that's with the game that's basically enticing me to come back, to be honest. Just to do the level grind and maybe like some of the crafting things, but I've got, as I said, other things that definitely are more warranting my time and my attention.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if I were to start getting into, like, it looks like the crafting stuff, the rings and the farming and that looks super grindy, and that's where I'm just like, ugh, no.
I did a little bit of the ring stuff, and it's like you need to do like 50 crafts to get to the next stage. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, no.
at that point, you're just throwing away items. It's like you're back in Skyrim making knives again. You're just like,
Yeah,
I need to make 50 daggers.
I couldn't see myself doing that though.
Well, the show's all about grind.
True, true.
So, speaking of segue, what are you grinding on this week?
This week has been for myself a bit of a everything's up in the air. Currently getting an extension done to my house, so I've been dealing with that. I got like a new slab of concrete out the back, and looking at getting builders starting next Monday, and I've got 5 weeks off of work, so I'm kind of busy and kind of not. So,
Busy and not.
while I'm not actually at my job, I'm actually supervising this construction and making sure that all the extra bits and pieces I wanted to go into these rooms to actually get there. So,
So you're a full-time professional amateur foreman.
uh-huh.
Nice.
I am the client. They're gonna do. They're gonna make. I'm gonna make sure that I get what I want.
Amen to that, man. It seems like there's a lot of that in in the States where you kind of got to watch the vendors and do things. She's like, they will cut corners.
But game wise, it's been pretty much Minecraft, Minecraft RimWorld, and what have I been playing? Can't actually say that I've actually been playing much else. That's about it, really.
Trove. Oh.
Well, yeah, on and off. But yeah, nothing really else springs to mind.
I had a very, very, very brief bout with Clicker Heroes, and then
I noticed.
I could say I played it and then I stopped. Does that make sense? Like, I officially played it and I've said I could play it, and then I stopped, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. It somehow jumped up to 71 hours. I left it running on my computer for 71 hours.
Uh-huh.
And then so I deliberately stopped it before it climbed up to where it showed up in like my top 10 games by playtime.
Yeah.
It's still beat out by Ark and Farming Simulator, so we're good. Nothing can overtake Farming Simulator.
Yeah, it's a shame that the whole I suppose my own internet connection is probably to blame for that. I did try actually doing a farming simulator with playing with other folks, and yeah, the multiplayer is not great.
I had a blast playing with some guys, but I could clearly tell that they were playing locally in their country, and I think I was connected to them, and they were in Germany. I couldn't understand a word they were saying, but like we just sort of clicked. It was great. And they gave me a tractor, and I hauled corn for them, and they just kept harvesting up the corn, and all I do is just pick it up and drive it to the mill. And we had a great time, and it was reasonable speeds too. So I don't know how that accidentally worked out, but so speaking of which, they are in a couple weeks now. Farming Simulator 17, I think, is coming out.
Something like
So
that.
you're going to lose me to that. I will go ahead and say that. That is on my radar of stuff I'm going to just dive into, and then be like, I'll surface 2 weeks later, just be like, what happened? So
I can't say there's actually anything that's coming out in the near future that I'm really looking out for. It's
I
mainly just
know.
plodding through all the stuff that I've already got.
I know. It's God, I can't even follow the Steam releases anymore. It's so ridiculous how many are coming out. And every time I log into Steam's website, I just get ADD. I subscribe to the Humble Bundle monthly, and I love that, and I really feel like I've gotten my value out of it, but they they give me like 7 more games every month, and I'm like, "Oh, like I only have enough time to play one of them." So
Mm.
it's just making the problem worse. You know? I I do have to admit, I think I have this slight fear of missing out of saying like, "Oh, if I unsubscribe, that's the month that they drop something crazy that I've been waiting to buy," you know? But I'm like, you know how it is. That's how I got Ark and Space Engineers, so I got them both through Humble. So,
No, that's fair. That's fair.
so you know, I watch people play it for a few months, and I'm like, "Oh, Ark came out on the bundle," so it was good
Looking at
times.
Steam, the remastering of Bioshock and Bioshock 2 came out recently. Again, the games I have in my library, well, not the remastered, but I've got them in my library, and I still haven't actually even started to play that whole thing.
So, BioShock 1 is clearly in my top 5 most favorite games ever. So
Mm.
I would give you a heads up to play that one, but I wouldn't. Don't. The second one just goes off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Oh yeah, another feature that's Steam is pushing, the whole VR thing. Oh my god, I have yet to see anything in a VR category that even looks like I would actually want to spend money. They have VR ping pong. What kind of Nintendo Wii stupidity is this? You know, it is such a gimmick.
Mm.
Have you found anything that would make you actually want to purchase an Oculus or something, or a Vive or whatever they're calling theirs?
Um, to be honest, if they actually had a decent space game, I mean, I must confess I haven't really looked at Elite Dangerous. That's apparently supposed to be
Mhm.
pretty good. Um, but no, there's nothing actually really enticing me to actually buy or if to that sort of degree. I mean, most of
Mhm.
my games are, as I suppose, like building type stuff, and I do enjoy the occasional arcade types, like RPG, that sort of thing. I
Mhm.
can't see myself wanting to have that sort of thing strapped to my face. And I must admit, there was a long while ago at a convention, I tried a development kit of Oculus Rift, and I think it was more it was a problem that I wasn't sitting down, which probably threw me even more. But they put the Rift on, and they put me through like driving a car, and I was fine up until the point where I went to turn the corner. And once that happened, I had to take it off. I got so motion sick so quick. And that has stuck in my head ever since. And I don't really like that. I mean, why would I want to like disrupt my happy place of it, like playing the games with the screen
Yeah.
to have that
Yeah.
sort of thing? It's like no.
Yeah, we have an Oculus 2 dev kit at my work, and we of course had to we all fired up Minecraft, and it is nauseating. Just the fact that in Minecraft, like your pitch and yaw are solid, right? I guess is the best way to put it, right? Your solid stick standing upright, and suddenly your head can kind of tilt sideways. Oh my God, that is just that alone is just nauseating. Just the fact that you can kind of turn your head to the side, and your view gets skewed. But even in Minecraft, we were cooking the video card. And I just unless you have a high end game system, anything you're going to play it's not going to look that great. And on top of that, I think the people that have those high end gaming systems are also, these are the streamers and all that.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to watch you stream you playing a VR. It's like, unless they're just streaming you puking. I mean, but so on that subject, I did have something I wanted to bring up. I took my kids to the library the other day. It's just a short, amusing story. And as we're pulling up to the library, these kids came pedaling up on their bikes, and they were all sweaty. So they obviously either were out hardcore biking, or they rode their bikes to get there for a really far distance. And there's not really a lot of housing near this library, so they probably did come from a reasonable distance, right? So then they go inside, they pile in doing stuff. I'm like, okay, I get my kids out. We spend all this time. My kids go through all the little book section. There's always kids' books. Pick out a whole bunch. And then as we're going to check out, I walk by, and all these kids are on 3 different computers. And all 3 of them are watching YouTube, and they're watching someone play Rocket League on YouTube. And I'm just like, these kids rode their bikes all the way to the library just to watch someone play Rocket League on YouTube. I'm like, what is wrong with this world? It's such a boring game to watch. Oh my God, of everything you could watch, Rocket League? Really?
Again, it's not about the Rocket League. It's the people who are playing the Rocket League. They're probably more engaged with.
But I'm just like, Rocket. I stopped and stared for a few seconds. I'm like, Rocket League?
Have you
really?
You've played Rocket League? Yes, no?
I literally just got it last month in the Humble Bundle, and I haven't installed it. I have watched the Gatcast people stream it a couple times, but I really had zero interest at all in the game. I was there because it was my friends.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's something we should try for the. It's not quite a grindy type game, but maybe it's something we could try out.
Maybe. I'm terrible at it, so.
Yeah, well,
I just the whole mechanics of driving a little remote control car, and I'm just like, oh, that's gonna be bad. We can throw down the gauntlet, and we'll play against Gatcast, because isn't it like 2 versus 2 or something?
Yep.
So we could challenge their podcast, and we could just totally not own them. We'll do a race to the bottom. We're gonna win.
It could lead for some interesting times.
Good times. So, what do you think we want to play for next show?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually looking at my desktop, and maybe, how about Don't Starve?
What?
Don't Starve.
Don't Starve?
You've not played Don't Starve.
Do I have that one? Don't Starve. I have that. Have not played it. Have not installed.
Well, in that case, there we go.
So we're gonna not starve next week.
Well, you probably will.
If it's anything like Banished, I felt bad after killing off everybody.
Well, no, okay, just a little primer. Don't Starve is a survival game,
Okay.
and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I will take your word for it. Am I gonna be like jump scares by wolves and stuff, or?
No, but you don't want to be in the dark, because in the dark, bad things come to get you.
Torches are your friend.
Yes, absolutely. Campfires are your
Okay.
friend,
We
and
will.
some.
We'll fire up. Don't starve here.
All right.
Speaking of grinding, I forgot to mention this. I've been trying to. I restarted playing Baldur's Gate again,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's also another game that I have yet to
oh
actually.
yeah.
I'm
After our
pretty.
D&D session, I had to. I'm like, I gotta play this again. So maybe that'll be 2 weeks out. if you
Perhaps.
want to fire back up too again.
Well,
So
actually, install it. Period. Let me see.
I did find a trainer patch, so I beefed my guys a little bit, make it a little easier because I'm just I don't have time for hardcore RPGing. But
Actually, there
I'm
was
actually
a.
trying to enjoy the quest, the whole story of the whole thing. I mean,
Mm.
which is something I sort of blew through the last time I played it. So, but I haven't beaten it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. Still in chapter 1.
I do have fond memories of Baldur's Gate, especially Boo.
Boo.
I don't remember what the ranger's name was, but yeah, it was some
I
classic
picked
stuff.
I picked up this guy in like the third town. Um, it was a hidden house that I had never realized it was there. And I walked in and he's like, let's go try to. He basically hired us as mercenaries and then he joins your party. And then you
Mm.
head north to find caravans that are on fire. And apparently the whole quest line is broken. Like as soon as you find him, he's like, I don't want to find these anyways. Like he gives up on the quest. And then he's just in your party. And I'm like, do I ditch him? So I think you could just boot people from the party. I could just leave him for dead out in the middle of nowhere, but he's like lawful evil or something. I'm like, oh God, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing. Oh yeah. So speaking of which, both of us are actually over playing D&D on Roll20. We gotta
Absolutely.
throw that out there. So if you love hearing our sexy voices, Raetac's, you're definitely putting it on your YouTube channel, and then
Absolutely. Yep.
Scott's doing his over on Gatcast as well.
Yeah, it's been live streamed on the Gatcast Twitch stream, and it's also getting replayed on their channel. I'm putting up my copy on actually just Friday evening US time, Saturday morning for myself
Okay.
here in Australia. So it's good, but I'm just going to basically upload the whole thing and just say, right, okay, here's an adventure. Watch it if you like or not. I'm really not fussed, but it's going to be. I'm going to experiment with long form content over the weekend.
Viper definitely did his homework making some fantastic splash screens and stuff, and his Twitch feed looked beautiful. So I gotta give him kudos, and he is one hell of a DM so far. So I'm definitely on board for this whole mission, this whole quest. So
Actually, my character turned out a lot cheerier than I anticipated. So, but I'm just gonna have to work with that, considering his his background's really not that happy. Maybe he's overcompensating.
Was it you or was it Randark that threw the dwarf through the other dwarf?
That would have been Randark. I, not to be outdone, I spear tackled the guard that was standing next to Randark, so they collected the guard, Randark, and the person behind him.
Oh, such a great time. Yeah, if you have no idea what we're talking about, go look up one of the stories somewhere and join us on our. We're streaming every Monday night, I believe, is
Yep.
what we're aiming for. And
9
it was so
p.m.
much
EST?
so much mirth. So yes, 9 p.m. EST. That is correct. So okay, well, I think we're going to wrap this show up. If you ever want to contact us, you can send us an email at podcast@XPQuest, or you can follow us on Twitter, which is where we pretty much are. We're at Players Ally for the Players Alliance. We got at XPQuest, at DJPimpDaddy, and at Raetac Rages. And of course, Raetac's YouTube channel is over at youtube.com/user/Raetac Rages. He's not ragey. It's an oxymoron.
No, yeah. If you haven't picked up on that already.
There is other Players Alliance show on this channel if you like the show. On Mondays at 8:30, there is Eastern. That's DDO Players News. And every other Thursday, sort of, maybe, 9 p.m. Eastern, we got XPQuest. The last Friday of every month, they have Lotro Academy. And the flagship Saturdays at 8:30 Eastern PM. We have Lotro Players News. And next episode, we're doing Don't Starve. So we're going to not starve, I guess, is the premise of the next episode.
Well, DJ may starve. I won't.
You know what I might do? Since it doesn't look like this game's very resource heavy on the video processor, I might try to live stream this to my Twitch channel. So you guys might get some entertainment some night. Not tonight, but some night. You can watch me venture into it. A true Don't Starve virgin. So, sound fair?
Yep. Sounds interesting.
Okay. Well, I guess that's all. We're gonna wrap this up. Thank you, live chat. There's some people elsewhere listening in. There's people, they're lurking. They're not participating. We've had a stalker this whole show. Okay. Well, thank you, live listener. And I think that's all.
Yep. Till next time.
Have a good one.